Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, welcome for the first time. And today, we got horror. Lots and lots of horror for my May TBR. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's been a kind of tough week for us and for me this week. Didn't release this video as earlier as I was hoping to. I've been in a little bit of pain with my knee, but that'll get better, I'm sure. But as I say, better late than never, right? So what we're going to talk about today, we got a group read, final group read for the All About Holly. We got a buddy read, and then we got two seriously awesome events. We got Zombiethon, excuse me, and we got Horror Mayhem. So we're going to talk about all of those on this particular video. Oh, and I'm going to try and link all of these channels below. So for the creators of these events and for everyone, I know that for Horror Mayhem there are lots and lots of co-hosts, and I've been having a problem lately trying to actually link the channels onto my description box, but I'll do my best. Might take me a couple of hours where it's been going lately, but if I don't, I'll just make sure that I have the co-host there on my description area. Let's start off with Holly and the All About Holly group readathon reading event, and we started with Mr. Mercedes and the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, where Holly was introduced as a character, and Stephen King himself said that that was just going to be a once-off. But he fell in love with the character, and after the Bill Hodges trilogy, he brought her back for The Outsider, and then If It Bleeds, and then finally Holly, which I am almost finished with, and which is absolutely bloody brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. This looks like a 5-star, but I'm not going to say anything about it until I give my review, and also until the whole group, All About Holly group, which I'll link down below. We have a live stream, and it's going to be towards the end of the month on Greg at another Bibliophile Reads channel, and we're going to discuss this in full. But I'm really enjoying it. It's just a stunning novel, and I've got about 50 pages left, so I should actually finish that by then. Okay, and then next up we've got another buddy read that I'm doing with Alex at Alex Unabridged. I'll link his channel down below, check him out. And that is Dolly by Susan Hill. Now, Susan Hill's more well known for The Women in Black, but this does look like a very interesting read with haunted dolls, haunted houses. Yeah, slow burning horror comes from the violent meeting of innocent evil. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's like a ghost story, it's all sorts of things packed in one. Now, before I carry on, that just reminds me, even from these first two books, that for the Horror Mayhem, there's a bingo card that I'm not going to show you today. And there are a whole lot of prompts, which I don't tend to do much anymore, but I have been aware of that, and all the books that I've actually picked, I'm covering a lot of the bingo board, and I might make space for more later on. But yeah, we're going to get to that when we talk about Horror Mayhem. Okay, the first actual event that I'm taking place in this month of May is Zombiethon, and this was created by Cat's Novel Adventures. Just such an awesome channel, and yeah, she likes to celebrate, and she's been doing it for a number of years now, Zombie Awareness Month, which is actually a thing. There's a website and everything, and yeah, I've chosen a kind of number of different zombie stories to read over the month. I know it's a watchathon as well as a readathon. I will make an effort to watch probably Shaun of the Dead for the 1000th time, but yeah, I'm definitely going to read some zombie fiction this month. And yeah, another thing as well is that yeah, Cat is coming on my channel tomorrow night. I've already put out a bookmark, what do you call it, a thumbnail, and I'm going to be chatting to her live, and one of the things we'll be chatting about is Zombie Awareness Month, so please tune in for that and be part of the conversation. Okay, the first book that I'm reading for Zombie Awareness Month is Night of the Living Trekkies, which is very much a crossover, a bit of science fiction and zombie horror. And it's about these Star Trek fanatics that go to a convention and they all dress up, as you do. And then a virus breaks out, obviously with some kind of hilarious results. And I heard it's kind of silly, but a lot of fun at the same time, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, next up on my Kindle we got the Mammoth Book of Zombies, and I'm going to be reading a number of my favourite tales from this. Layla's biting herself, I'm not sure if that's coming through on the audio, which is kind of appropriate. Mammoth Book of Zombies is an awesome collection, and don't be fooled by the title. There are all sorts of different kinds of tales here. Yes, they all centre around the idea of the undead, but not necessarily George Romero's idea of the undead. There are ghost stories, and they all have a different tone and a different feel, and there's some real quality in this collection. And the one story I'm going to absolutely make sure that I reread, I think I've done it about 5 times, is a story called On the Far Side of the Cadillac Desert with Dead Folk by Joe R. Lansdale. This is a bizarre, twisted, kind of sick story, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. A zombie apocalypse that is finished. Zombies are now kind of captured, sort of, they're used as commodities, sexual commodities. You got a bar with pole dancing zombies. I'm not going to say any more. His work does get kind of bizarre, Lansdale, and it might not be for everyone, but I found it hilarious and very enjoyable. So yeah, that is On the Far Side of the Cadillac Desert with Dead Folk. Okay, the next one is a good one I found on Kindle, and that is Plants vs. Zombies. What does it say? Lawnmageddon. Now, I'm sure that most of you, some of you, perhaps most of you, all of you, have heard of the game Plants vs. Zombies. My wife and I are kind of addicted to that, although we haven't played for a while, but we used to play, and when we start, it's kind of difficult to stop. And it's about these zombies, all sorts of different kinds of weird and wonderful zombies, and they're marching towards this home owned by this crazy guy. And the only thing he's got to protect himself is his plants and sunflowers. And so basically it's a home invasion. It's actually a comic, it's a graphic novel or comic in middle grade, but it's still home invasion, and that's one of the things on the ticking off the bingo card, so I'm going to include that. And then there's also nature rising up, so you've got the plants. So I'm going to kind of include that as well, even if this is not strictly horror. And I'm dying to see how that awesome game, a very simple game but so awesome, translates into kind of children, middle grades comics, because I don't believe it gets too serious. But this is only a kind of low-key thing I'm reading this month, but it looks so much fun. And I love the game, so I don't care. I'm going to read it. Okay, now we're coming to the picks for Horror Mayhem. Although everything I've mentioned before can tick off some of those boxes. And the whole point of Horror Mayhem is to celebrate shorter fiction. Not necessarily just short stories, but just novellas, novella length, less than 250 pages. And the first one I'm going to talk about, the first one I'm going to read, and I'm excited for this, is Ray Bradbury, From the Dust Returned. And it's just a gorgeous cover, gorgeous author. I love the prose, I love his imagination. And it's about this eternal family, and in this home, it's like a kind of legendary home. And it's got branches out into the world, and it's calling all these creatures, supernatural creatures and things, coming together at this home. And of course there's a threat involved. I don't know much more about that. I know it's kind of linked with Charles Adams family. I know my friend Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic gave me a bit of a spiel. Sorry, I didn't pay attention. But I know they're good friends. Charles Adams and Ray Bradbury. So I think this might have been almost like a, what do you call it, baby? Like when you dedication to Charles Adams. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and this might tick off all sorts of things. Vampires, creatures. It looks beautiful. Okay, I really have to actually mention the bingo board, because that's a big part of I think the Horror Mayhem. So there's four prompts for each week. I'm doing a lot of the prompts. I'm not doing them in order. I'm not doing the weekly prompts in order, but I should be able to tick off a hell of a lot. And another one is translated horror, because what I've got here is Tales of Supernatural Terror by Guy de Maupassant. That sounds French. Yeah. And it says here that this is the first selection of its kind to appear in English. So yeah, a collection of short stories, and apparently from what I read, he is more well known for realistic horror. So this cover might be a little bit misleading, but still, I'm looking forward to going through this. And it's fairly short, and it's got some interesting titles. So yeah, mixing a little bit of the supernatural with his normal realism. And I suppose that also means the protagonist might be a little bit not right in the head, but maybe having visions about this stuff, or yeah, belongs in an asylum, I don't know. But that is Tales of Supernatural Terror. Okay, next up we got a Booktuber short story collection, and that is Isolation. Isolation Tales by Jason White. Jason White's an awesome booktuber. I'm going to link his channel below. He's got a channel called Jason's Weird Reads. And I just want to read what it said on Goodreads about this particular one. From the twisted mind of Jason. I'm sure he doesn't mind that. From the twisted mind of Jason White are 9 previously uncollected stories of isolation, desperation, horror, absolute, and despair. Enter these strange and eldritch worlds, populated with people you will care about and creatures that'll make your spine crawl. So I'm really looking forward to this. I love his channel. Mostly talks about weird horror, which is very cool. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Okay, the next novella that I'm going to be reading, a horror novella, and I've been reading him every month. That is Chad Lutzke, Bruises on a Butterfly. And how's that beautiful cover? How's the title of that novella? It's just awesome. And it is about a young boy who runs away from his abusive home, and he runs into the middle of a cornfield where he and his friends have built this fort. And obviously he's running from his abusive father or mother or whatever, and they hide out there. And then something happens. Let me just read this. A cosmic discovery one night warps reality into a mutating nightmare. And so his loyal friends need to fix what they can and what they can't. Now I absolutely love this author. And only 4 stars I've given, everything else has been 5 stars. It's when he's collaborated with another author. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. I love the story, the idea of the story. So yeah, that is Bruises on a Butterfly. Okay, the next book to read on my Kindle is a novella called Funfair, an extreme horror novella. And that sounds vaguely familiar to another extreme funfair novella that I read a while back that I didn't enjoy, but I like the idea of this one, so let me just tell you. The funfair basically arrives out of nowhere on Halloween, 31st of October. Holiday, I think there's a holiday prompt there as well. And basically they arrive in these tinted glass limousines or whatever, and then they set up this festival, this carnival. And they set up a boundary which is patrolled by clowns. And the clowns hand out these leaflets to anyone who cares, people that are loitering around. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. And what I like about this, it doesn't seem like the horror goes somewhere else. I think in the other one that I read, I'm trying to think of the name, these kids who were too inquisitive were then whisked off somewhere else to whatever fate, I don't know, it's very bloody. But this seems to take place only in the funfair, so I like that. I'm quite kind of intrigued by that. So yeah, that is Funfair, an extreme horror novella. Okay, and then I know one of the major prompts is film, linking horror with film. And so I've gone with 20th Anniversary Screening by Jeff Strand. Now this, I'm going to read this. This is apparently a mockumentary that recounts the grisly events surrounding a terrible slasher flick. Slasher? The Roofer. Yeah, even the name's terrible. And then remembered because a fan, a crazy fan, tried to reenact the murders on the screen. So yeah, this looks like fun. It's like a dark comedy, a black comedy. That's 20th Anniversary Screening by Jeff Strand. Okay, and then just to finish off a couple of other possibilities that are out there, I'm going to present to you right now my favorite horror compilation of all time. That is Dark Forces by Kirby McCauley. This is just so full of absolute quality that yeah, just a wonderful, wonderful collection. Let's talk about some of the guys at the back here. Ray Bradbury, Ramsey Campbell, Robert Bloch. Oh, that's a good one. I remember that short story. Joyce Carol Oates, T.E.D. Klein, Stephen King, and so many more. I absolutely love this. So if I've got a lot of time left, then I'm going to keep going through this. And then of course we have Spine Chillers, 65 Spine Chillers, which majority of the book is classic horror. And I know that's one of the prompts, so I will definitely be looking up some Spine Chillers for this horror mayhem. And it's got green on the cover of the packs. And then some more compilations if I have the time, or just some recommendations for all of you. The Darker Side Ceremonies. I think it says Modern Masters in Horror or Original Tales from the Terrifying Voices of Modern Horror. And then we got, and I love this cover, we got the 5th Pan Book of Horror Stories. Look at that face, half skull, half human. I just love that. And then finally, because I know there's a werewolf prompt there somewhere on the sheet, if I've got time, this is two books in one, 2 novels in one, and that is Moon of the Wolf, and that is by Leslie Whitten. So yeah, if I have time, then I will finish off with this. Okay everyone, those are my selections for now, and of course there are other prompts that I would like to fulfill that I haven't. I've actually gone through the list, but there's time at the end of the month, and I've got a lot of short stories here, a lot of short novellas. If there's time at the end of the month, I will pick up some other ones and I'll mention it on my channel and try and complete that board. But yeah, remember to please join me with Kat for Zombiethon, for my discussion, for my chat. And if you read any of those books below, please let me know down in the dark spaces. I'd love to chat to you. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But until next time, take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.